Oh yeah, yeah, Natasha, we're all contractors.
But
We're
I
gonna
know what
change
that's
the.
good though because it's about word of mouth. So
Yep.
that's where and that's like where I'm at. Like I already got the job before I go there and bid on it. You know what I'm saying? But for what I do, honestly, besides my investment, I just do rent readies and sale readies. That's all I do. I go in, I rehab the whole entire thing for the cheapest price possible, right, for renters, or I rehab it within a seller's budget, and that's it. I tell them straight out, what is your budget? Because listen, I got all phases of construction. Here's the thing: I can give you a cheap end, I can give you a high end. You tell me where you want to be at.
Mm,
I know my profit margin. I know what I'm going to make off the job, regardless of what budget they pick. So, I
yeah.
mean, that's
Yeah.
all I do. Sell readies, rent readies. It's that easy. I go in and do the same crap. I'm in and out in a week, like literally whole house, full scale, and it's about sellability out here. Like, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
you know, kitchens and bathrooms and all that make a house and they make the price of the house, but it's all about sellability. And that's what I give the house. I go in and I make it sellable. So people walk in, it's move-in ready, and that's that.
Yep. Yep.
You know.
That
It's a
makes
good
sense.
business model.
Yeah. That's what,
Well,
that's what I was
I
about
mean,
to
you,
say.
you think about it, like you paint to customer specification. I don't. When I do these sale ready houses and all that stuff, I swear on you, every single house I have a certain gray I use, and all the molding gets semi-glass white, gloss white. All the floors are new, and everything matches perfect. And it's literally when people walk in, it's move-in ready. People are going to change things. It's inevitable. People
Yeah.
who buy houses always want to change things. So you want to add the sellability. And believe it or not, you'll still raise the value sometimes up to $50,000 with just sellability.
Mm,
Yep.
You
And
know,
it sounds like you've got a brand basically with how yours look.
well, yeah, you know what? People see all the pictures I do and everything like that, and plus, I'm highly recommended. It's just like I get the jobs no problem because my landlord, like I said, who's also my real estate agent and also gets me a ton of jobs. She's like everything to me. She literally will tell them, "Listen, this is what Mike does. This was the price of this house. This is what it sold at. This was the price of this house. This is what it sold out after he did the work." And she'll tell him, "You spend $20,000, you'll make 30 off that 20." She's good at that. So
oh
Nice.
man. That's freaking awesome. Hold up. We done drug Razik out of the darkness. Like, what is up, man? It's been a minute since Razik's been on the show.
Man, hey, look,
He, what happened? Did you smell the money?
yeah, hey, look, hey, look. I'm gonna show you, man. I don't know if I can turn you some my camera around. Damn, I don't even know if I can turn my camera around.
Just turn the phone around. You can just turn the whole thing around.
But yeah, this is what I'm looking at.
So Mike, this is my buddy Roz. He does options trading.
oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
now and he's a
What's
truck
going
driver.
on,
Like
Mike?
obviously, dude's on the road right now.
Hey, Mike. Like, yo, like I trade options while I drive.
Listen, you always got to have a side hustle, bro. You always
Hey,
got to be making
man.
money while you're making money.
Hey, man. You have to. You know what I'm saying? As they say, you got to find multiple ways to work, man. You have to. You know what I'm saying? So, just and I'm sure, what I'm saying, Ray has probably already spoken on it numerous times, man. But to be able to multiply one grind into two and three and four and five, you know what I'm saying? And then when you can make a substantial amount of money throughout the day, when you're not, what I'm saying, having to have that urge to be like, oh shit, well, I need to make some money to pay this bill or this
hmm
mortgage and this car, or somebody in your family is asking you for $1,500, and you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like,
hmm
I didn't, been through that like type of qualm to where, what I'm saying, to where it's like you're not trying to say no, but you almost know, like, I can't keep giving you a handout. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so many people be like, okay, well, yeah, how did you do this? And I'm like, yo, like, you know, what I'm saying? Like, if you put in the same amount of effort, you know what I'm saying, that it takes to do bullshit, and then if you go in and then you go in to put that same amount of effort to then, what I'm saying, to do something that's going to be, a product or a brand, and being able to, compound that. Like, it's so funny. I had told Ray this a while back. I was like, Warren Buffett, what I'm saying, said, like compound interest, what I'm saying, is the eighth wonder of the world. I think that was coined by Albert Einstein. But when he had said it, compound interest goes far above and beyond than just money. You know what I'm saying? Like compound interest also applies. Yo, you hear me? Am I good?
Oh yeah, yeah. We can
Oh,
hear
okay,
you,
okay.
bro.
I just wanted to make sure. But yeah, what I'm saying, compound interest goes, what I'm saying, far, far and above and beyond just, what I'm saying, money. You know what I mean? Compound interest applies with, friends, relationships, business, what I'm saying, your attitude, you know what I mean, everything. So, as Jim Rome once said, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. You know what I'm saying? So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I didn't mean to derail. I don't even know what the show is even about. So my
Man,
fault, man.
we talking about money. It, literally, you came in right on topic, bro. Like I
Oh
was
It's
about to
wow,
say, I
dropping
was
that
like,
wisdom. It's all right.
I
Mike
got you.
was
I got
just, we were just talking about just that. So,
I
like,
got you.
basically,
Yeah,
So
I mean, listen,
let me
I'm
ask y'all a
the
question.
same way.
oh, hold up,
Good.
hold up. Casey got a question. Let's see it.
Yeah,
Let's hear it.
let me ask y'all a question because as it pertains to crypto, when you all say crypto, the only thing I really think of is Bitcoin because that's the only one I trust. How do you feel about the rest of the market?
I think it depends on what you're educated on. I would never, me personally, I would never recommend anyone invest in anything that they don't understand, which is why I've I've gotten out of, because like when you first get into something, you're a zealot about it, and I've gotten out of telling people how they need to make their money as long as they are making their money and retaining it. That's all I care about. Like I don't care how much you made. I care about how much your net worth is growing and if it's actually growing. Like that's what's important. Now, when it comes to crypto, me personally, I've been doing it for 10 years. So there are multiple protocols that I am versed in and familiar with and use. But I actually
Well,
use them.
it's all about that long term and that short
Yep.
term, and you gotta,
Yep.
some things you got to trade every day, like and then there's those long term. If you do, you got to do the research about the company. And listen, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was an idiot when it came to crypto, but I said these kids are onto something. I'm gonna have to learn it. I got to sit down. And dude, I'll tell you what, I researched and researched for months on end and tried to learn everything I could about crypto just to
Mhm.
make it. And I'll tell you what, I make money, not much in crypto, but I make money. I make more money in commodities and metal and things like that. But crypto is still, I'm still strong on it because I know graphs, I know how to read things, and I know the stock market. So
Mike, you're gonna need to tap in, bro. Like, so I don't trade at all. Like ever. Like I haven't traded in probably 8 years. All I do is most of my stuff is yield farming, and you do like my first year when I got into and learned how to yield farm efficiently. I was pulling down like 8 grand a month. Like, but I knew that it wasn't sustainable, so I just didn't quit my job. I was like, I'm going to leverage this into the partnership and the company because I was like, well, I don't have to be here at this point. And they were like, well, you're really good at what you do. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, can we sweeten this pot a little bit?
but you got to
But
be willing to take that loss and not cry about it.
100%, 100%,
Because
100%.
there's a lot. People have to understand. You have to fail. If you've never failed, you'll never. Like failure creates success. And if you're always successful and you don't know failure, when failure happens, you're going to wind up hanging yourself in your closet. I hate to be
Facts.
blunt like that. I hate to be blunt like that, but you have to
So
learn
true.
how to. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm sorry to say it, but you got to learn how to take it on the chin sometimes because it's going to
Yep.
happen.
Yep. No, and it's the thing. It's I always tell people it's like taking your L's is like death. It's coming for everybody. Like it's happening. It's an inevitability. Like anyone who tells you that they've only won don't do business with that person.
No,
like
and
if they
stop
don't,
watching these short clips on TikTok about these people and
facts,
how they got freaking rich because they ain't telling you shit. You ever notice how
facts.
everyone tells you, "Oh, I got here." They never tell you how they got there, how they got started. They'll never ever give you those secrets. You're never going to get them unless you learn them on your own.
Facts. No, like
Agreed.
it's not even that. It's like they'll give you these half truths, or they make their whole platform and their whole online presence about telling you that there's only one way to do whatever. And I'm just like, have you ever met rich people? Like, I've never met them and been like, oh, I just did what the last guy did. That's how I got rich. Like that's never the story you hear. It would be like,
Well, getting rich nowadays is a lot harder than it used to be. So it's a lot harder, and there's a lot
really?
more risk assessment. Yeah, listen,
I
there's
feel
a
like,
lot
I
more.
don't.
well,
But listen, yeah, but here's the thing: what's rich to you? You really think $1 million is rich? That's not rich.
okay, I'll give you
It's
that. I'll
above
give you that.
average, but it's not rich. How far does $1 million go nowadays? It doesn't go very far at
Facts.
all.
That's true. That's true.
You know, and I tell people that it's like being a millionaire is no longer desired because $1 million isn't worth shit anymore. And when CBDC hits, $1 million really ain't going to be worth shit. So it's always about residual income. It's always about making everything work for you, and the income has to keep coming in. You have to create debt and create wealth, and people need to understand that.
Well, and as we're moving into inflation, as inflation increases, you have to also have something that's literally tied to this currency,
Mm-hmm.
as well as other things that are giving you a passive income and gaining, gaining worth, I guess you could say, like tangible assets, real estate, physical gold, physical silver, all of these.
Truth.
But you also have to have something that is tied to the fake money.
Well, the thing is the only way you're going to benefit and you're going to come ahead, and this is why I say real estate. I know people say don't go into real estate, but the only way you're going to be able to hide certain things is within real estate. Because with CBDC, everything's going to be recorded, right?
Facts.
It's going to be digitally recorded. So you're going to be able to hide. You're going to be able to hide funds in certain areas. So even though it's recorded, it'll still come in as a write-off instead of a profit or things like that. People are going to work the system no matter what they do. But you have to be smart about it. You got to be able to figure out how to work that system. It's going to be a learning curve for everybody.
Oh yeah. I mean, one thing that I will say is where there's a will, there's a way. So I mean, even if they got to bring out that Fed mackerel trade, like we're gonna have some mackerel tubes to hand back and forth once the CBDCs hit. Like they'll figure out something. Like people are very ingenuitous. It's just the way that we're moving forward. It's like we have a bunch of very what is it? I would say pleasant men that aren't going to be unreasonable enough to like be like, hey, we don't want to do this.
It's the resistance. And I'll be honest with you, my side, you know what I've been involved in my whole life.
Yep.
My side is going to be the resistance. I hate to say it. Everybody knows. I mean, everybody knows that I'm a constitutionalist, so I'm for everybody. But am I extreme conservative? Yes, my side is going to be the resistance, and this is where you're going to have to worry because the people who do resist and don't try to come up with the times and learn everything about it, it's the world's going to become a scary freaking place. And then it also goes for the people who are desperate and a product of their environment in lower class areas. They're not going to know how to work the system, so it's going to get dangerous, and the crime rates are going to raise. And the only thing I can say is buy guns and ammo and protect yourself.
100%.
All right. Well, now that we're the four of us are here collected, and we've got a few people watching too. So now that we're here, let's talk about what steps we're going to take personally to end the Fed.
Jesus.
Well, you don't want me to get into that because I'd offered to lead this war once.
I actually do. I'm going to tell you something. Out of every conversation I have with literally everybody, that's almost the first thing I bring up because it's such an important thing. Ron Paul was the closest person that like even started to like just get at that. He was talking about auditing the Fed as a step to ending the Fed, but
Mhm.
I want to end the Fed.
You
I
see
want to
this
end
right
the
here?
occupation of the Federal Reserve.
You see this right here?
I can.
This document was
Declaration of
created.
Restoration.
This document me and my wife created, right? To end everything. We actually handed this in. We were in the White House, we were in the Capitol. This was the only document that was overshadowed by a sham impeachment and corrupt politicians that still has to be heard in court today. And it's the only thing that could have saved us from what the hell is going on today. To be honest with you, it never pertained more now. I mean, I think we were a year too early when we did this, but that's the first redress agreement since 1983 when some rednecks tried to submit one that was ever received by federal government by the citizens. It's the first one.
Wow.
And we could have ended it. And the problem is like I said, I've been involved in this a long time. I could have ended the Fed. I'm the guy that the Feds knock on the door. I'm the guy that DHS knocks on the door when I speak most of the time. Not like tonight. Tonight's financial, so it's different. But when I do my other platforms, that's who they come after. I offered to lead this war once. I literally went to D.C. I did all this, and the problem is the Fed is so corrupt because they're the new mob rule.
Mm-hmm.
And not the street justice mob rule. They're the new mob rule. They're so friggin' corrupt. It's going to be tough unless people rise up because of some crazy thing that happens in the United States, whether it be CBDC or war with Russia. Unless the American citizens come together as one, they're always going to be ahead of us. They're always going to control.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with CBDC, we're now going from a limited constitution, which we know we have, whether people want to believe it or not, to a controlled constitution, meaning you have no constitutional rights. You're a free roaming slave that thinks he has rights.
That's been us since 1913.
What was that? I'm sorry.
That's what we have been since 1913.
Well, it's the truth, but CBDC puts it over that edge.
Yeah. I mean, like,
because that's controlled. So you want to buy firearms now? They're giving you permission to use their fiat currency. If they want to deny you, they'll deny you. So now it's a totally different ballgame. They're going above and beyond to the communistic state.
Yeah.
Right. And we already had a soft version of that anyway. You as my entire lifetime, I've always known that I was free to do whatever I wanted as long as it was within the options given.
Mm-hmm.
Within the law. Yeah.
Not within the law, within the options given, because the law, what's legal and what's lawful are two very different things.
Yeah, agreed.
Absolute truth.
Agreed.
So I won't say a whole lot because I already know that Ray understands all of this, and it sounds like Mike, you're like right on with what I think about basically everything. So
well, listen, they don't call me Mike fucking Rage for no reason. I mean, I've been this guy forever. There's more articles out on Google about me than you can imagine. So I don't worry. I speak loud and proud about what I do. I don't hide. I mean, listen, I was convicted of friggin' planning January 6th, and I wasn't even there. So that'll let you know where I stand on a lot of different things. For me, it's just about being a constitutionalist and standing for all people. Everybody. I don't pick a side. I'm not right, left, indifferent. I believe in what I believe in. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in the people. And I believe in defending the people. I'm willing to die tomorrow if I have to defend the United States and the citizens. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike. Did you ever serve in the army?
No. I did private contracting on our own soil.
Okay.
I've served with some of the finest, but I never served. I thank every military man who served and gave up their lives and their sanity.
Hold on, quick.
I had to ask because you had the lingo and the mindset of somebody who has served, so that's why I asked.
I mean, technically speaking, what Mike did was a thankless service for all people, though. I mean, when you get convicted for something that you weren't even at because you spoke out, I mean, to me, like that's almost a next level of service. in my opinion, because
Agreed.
he got nobody thanked him. People still don't understand. They try to paint him in a bunch of different ways, and he's literally out here going like, I'm fighting for everyone. But the way that they tried to frame him as this villain is ridiculous because
And
he
and
spoke out.
it was from all sides, even my own side, just to let you know.
Yeah.
Jealous people do desperate things, but like I said, I've been on our border. I've fought cartels. I've fought human trafficking, drugs, you name it. I've done everything. I've fought more bills in the United States than most people can imagine, and I look like typical white trash, don't I? I've been in our own White House. I've been in the Capitol. I've been everywhere because I've stood up for the American citizens for a long, long time, and my wife as well. My wife actually did. She was more of a public speaker. I did things behind the scenes, and like I said, we got 43 rallies under our belt across the United States. We've been to every freaking capital you can imagine. We've fought bills across the nation that could have been really detrimental to society. We've done a lot of things, and people don't understand it. People are like, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. And everybody I grew up with thought I was nuts until I was right.
Yeah. That's normally how that works. Okay, so back to Casey's point. So my way of fighting this has been the same way that I've already spoken on this multiple times. Everybody knows my stance on this. Don't participate in the system. Like, let it burn. Like I said at the beginning of this, I'm here for these bank collapses, man. Like, my way of fighting back for this is to make sure that I am steeled against what's coming and able to continue to navigate, which basically for me is moving into Bitcoin, like a currency that's going to be accepted pretty much anywhere that you go. I can navigate based on that. As long as I can get a hold of a computer somewhere, I'm good. Like, it's being ungovernable. And realistically, the only freedom that you can have moving forward with the way that this is going in a digital age is to not be tied to one government. You need to have citizenship in at least 5 or 6 places and decentralize the controls. So that way, if one place wants to control you a certain way that's not good, you pop your passport, you go to a place that is more amicable. The only true freedom that you can have at this point, because these systems are already set, is to be a part of as many as possible. Because then you become ungovernable. Because you have the ability to just leave.
Yeah, but the problem is just like COVID. What if they stop your?
Well, no. But you know what they were doing with COVID for people with multiple passports, right? You could just flip through them until you found one they accept, and they let you in. So those people were not governable.
I'm just saying in certain aspects, like EMP, like everybody knows, an EMP is almost inevitable. If there's going to be a war with any other country, I think an EMP is going to be the first thing before any nuclear fallout or anything like that.
100%.
And these things are the variables we got to think of. How are we going to stay ahead? That's why I tell people self-sustainability. You got to be able to self-sustain.
I'm 100% there with you. Like, yeah, you got to be able to self-sustain, but like also, I mean, right now, the way that this is looking, I'm not thinking that they're going to deploy an EMP on us. I think that what's happening with the American, specifically to the system that we're in, is this country is fighting 2 battles. There's one that this country is fighting. We are in a monetary cold war with our own government as citizens. Like, if you were here. Also, shout out to Murda 100. Happy to see you, brother. I was worried you weren't going to show up. Square Roots. What's going on, brother? Happy you're here as well. But with the way that we're sitting right now, we are in the midst of a cold war financially with our own system. The people at the top of this system are currently, and this happens at the crash of every monetary system, the people closest to the money printer steal all the money so that they can navigate as they need to keep their position. Everybody else festers and dies, and nobody cares. This system, the way that it's set up right now, we are going through some serious wealth change. The people that are closest to that printer we're watching them in real time in front of our faces take our money. So that's the first thing. Then they're fighting a financial war outside of this country. They are also on the verge of fighting a real war outside of this country. Like, this system can't sustain that type of internal and external battle. Like, it's not going to work. So us as people, it's like we can't necessarily control the macro, but like positioning yourself financially and understanding the system that you're in, realizing it for what it is, taking that financial red pill and understanding that no one's coming to save you, that a lot of these things are happening by design, and that you as the individual involved in this are collateral damage at best. You have to position, we got to position ourselves to win. That's our responsibility. Because at this point, we know this system's not working for us.
Hey, look.
Go ahead.
The way I see it, and I kind of going to give you a little bit of pushback, Ray.
Okay.
I do agree, but the only thing I don't agree with is, like when you use the terms like saying like us, right? And I understand what you are saying when you say, us, but to provide better context for the word us, right, is the way I see it, specifically meaning that those who know, or as they say, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you die. You know what I'm saying? So in my, like, the way I see it, I actually like it. Because, and I'm going to tell you this, right? You know what I'm saying? So me personally, by me coming from a standpoint, of growing up poor and, destitute, single parent household, blah, 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 whatever, being locked up and, incarcerated and everything, right? Based off the things that I've learned and have read of how the economy works, the history of it, you know what I'm saying? The laws that are put in place. Like, I like the fact that everybody can't fucking win.
Well, yeah.
And I know a lot of people ain't gonna like it. And as I always tell you, Ray, like, I don't give a fuck. And the reason why I don't is because the burden of proof is to show and prove. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is the burden of proof. So if
survival of the fittest.
Right, you know what I'm saying. So if you're not willing,
but the issue is this: I agree with you 100%. But what I don't agree with is hindering people from being able to compete. That's the only issue that I have. I'm like, if we're all out, because like, if a lion's chasing down a gazelle,
bro, you can't say that, bro. You know why? Because animals have free will. I mean, well, excuse me, not animals. Animals don't have free will. We do. So I understand the analogy that you just getting ready to drop, but that does not apply. You know what I'm saying here? Because we are all suffering under, or I ain't gonna say all, but for every human being that has a brain, 2 arms, 2 legs, you know what I'm saying, the ability to make their own choices, they are held, and you are held or confined to the choices that you ultimately make. No one is putting a gun in your head saying, well, yo, you need to go smoke crack. No one is putting the gun in your head saying, well, hey, shorty, you need to go out here and sell your body and be on OnlyFans and become a single mom and have kids out of wedlock. No one's forcing nobody to do this.
No, it's not that.
No.
What I'm saying is you can't go open a Ford dealership right now, period. Like, you can't go do that. If you wanted to, if you had the money for it, you couldn't go do it. There can only be so many Ford dealerships.
I mean,
you can't go and join. You can't go and participate in an IPO.
But think about the things that you can do, though.
100%. And
hold on. Even to the IPO thing, that's not entirely true, because there's, because
after the higher, you hit a certain income level, sure,
hold on, Ray,
you're already rich.
No, Ray, it ain't, bro. It goes beyond that, because it's like the barrier to entry. The higher you ever, try to achieve something, it's supposed to get harder. It's supposed to get harder.
But,
You hold on.
with zero
Nah,
barrier to
bro.
entry, you can go
Stop,
lose your
man.
house at the casino.
Stop, bro.
There's no barrier to entry.
It's a choice. It's a choice to do that. But
you can't make the
look,
choice to go be in an IPO. That's all I'm saying.
you can. You
How?
can.
How if you're if you don't qualify and you're not accredited?
Well, hold on. See, you're putting your own foot in your mouth because it's like, well, the barrier to entry is this. Well, you have to, you know what I'm saying, do this. You have to have enough money to do this. You have to become an angel investor of this. You have to have so much time in the market. You're going to have to do a certain amount of trying to, network with a certain group of people who can put you in the door. Like, there's steps to this, bro. Like LeBron James, as an example, didn't just happen to become the all-time NBA leading scorer. It was a step to this. He had to start. He probably didn't even have the vision to even want to have that even accomplished. It started from or an idea. Like for example, right? You remember the movie with what's the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio where they was like
Wolf of Wall Street?
Not that. The joint where they was like implementing ideas and dreams, and
Inception. Gotcha.
Yeah. Now, if you remember the context of that film, right? He said something very, very important. He was like, and he was talking about the growth of an idea, the birth of an idea. If you implant an idea in somebody else, it will then manifest and take a life form of its own. Now, that's not the same idea that's going to manifest from what you had at first, but when you transform that idea to somebody else, they're going to take your original idea and transform that into something bigger, possibly way even better than what you originally had. So what I'm saying, like going back to the IPO thing, and I'm just using that as an example, like we're just all talking, right? But I'm just saying, and that's just one example, you know what I'm saying, with a complex and a multitude of other things that you can put in place of that. You know what I'm saying? So when you use or you say things like, okay, well, you can't do this, but actually you can, but you're missing out the context that everything takes steps and there's a barrier to entry to everything.
So,
like, you know what I'm saying?
But one of the things this is all I'm going to say.
All right.
Here and about, I'd say if we're lucky, y'all got 10 years to get into crypto. Now, when they put that barrier up and you have to be accredited to be in crypto, and I'm going to be accredited at that point because I've already been here for X amount of time. Right? That is not good. There was no barrier to entry when I got in. I just got to do it, and then they're going to put the barrier up. Like, this isn't me. This is what's going to happen when it gets regulated. Because when it gets regulated, those of us who have been in it for as long as I have, if you have a whole Bitcoin, you are basically going to hit accredited investor status at that point. They're going to shut that door off for everyday people who are just like me right now with no barrier of entry going, hey, there's somebody who's standing in between me and telling me what I can do with my money. But right now, they're not. What they are doing, though, and what you're seeing systematically happen is they're IP blocking the United States so that they don't have to even deal with this region because we don't have clarification. That clarification is going to come with a cutoff line, and there's going to be a moat drawn to where those of us who are in the market are going to be in the market. And then they're going to have a playpen for everyone else who's not in, where you guys will not have the opportunities that I was afforded to be able to say, I want to spend my money on this. I do not, because like you said, it's choices. It should be choices for everyone. If you can choose to take out hundreds of thousands of dollars and they'll give you hundreds of thousands of dollars to go get a worthless degree, to go make $40,000 a year and never pay it back and never be able to get out of it. If you can go and choose to go to the casino and be a degenerate and lose all your money in your house and maybe one of your kids, and you can choose. You can. These are all choices. But you can't choose to go invest because they've put a barrier there. And eventually, you're going to not be able to choose to make the crypto plays that I'm able to make of my own volition as a sovereign citizen.
But there's already barriers put in play for crypto.
That's not a negative. Like for example,
it's a negative for the people who aren't here now.